Rusty Carroll. Rusty is from Spring Hill, and he's a past president, and he is going to speak with us today about their golf tournament. Rusty?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about
Oh, couple things. Oh, good. Okay.
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. I'm going to kind of take on where Russ was talking about getting the club direction set. Because we're about in our second, going into our third year of our 5-year strategic plan. And these fundraisers are not our strategy, it's a tactic of our overall strategy. And I think that that's an approach, particularly for a small club such as ours, and I'm being a little bit optimistic here when I'm saying we've got 20 members. I think I'm including our, what's the word I'm trying to find, anyway, some of the affiliate members and such. We've got roughly 15 to 20 people at best. So it's a very small club. And our community is very similar to Cool Springs Club in a sense that we're a bedroom community to Nashville, Brentwood, Cool Springs, and the like. So we've got people there on the weekends and the evenings, and they're gone during the day. And you've got the opposite challenge, and that poses a challenge for us. But as I said, we're in the second year of our strategy implementation. But the thing I want to focus on is we've got a huge contingency of young families. If I'm not mistaken, I think that 60% of our population there is under the age of 18. And there's actually more kids that are not in school than that are in the school system today. So we've got our own baby boom issues and opportunities and challenges in the Spring Hill from an infrastructure standpoint from a number of different perspectives. But I wanted to get our board up here, one, to recognize them, but for those that I've had the opportunity to speak with here before, the three at the top, President, past president, the three of us were circled up around several pitchers of margaritas about 4 years ago. And that's how all this plan came together. And I drew the short straw initially. David is in the role now, and Armando's following. And if y'all were at lunch today, we were obviously proud to be receiving a lot of the awards that we received. And when I took on the presidency several years ago, I told David even then that my job was to make him look good. So I've obviously achieved that. But we've had a lot of fun with that. But we had to really go through and define who we were. And again, we did a lot of stuff, and we were heavily involved in the community, but it was very, very, very fragmented and labor intensive. And that was causing a challenge with our membership because they felt compelled that you had to twist their arms to be there. So we needed to find ways to understand what our club was passionate about. And once we got those determined, who were those people that were most passionate about those initiatives to lead those initiatives. And we boiled it down to our international program, which we've been a part of for a number of years. The Rotary Foundation is obviously something that we as Rotarians are always compelled to support. And we started the Interact Club, and Madison's back here with us today, so glad to have her here. And that has been a passion of Pastor Matt Strange and our club, and he's really taken that and helped it grow. And then we had our normal community efforts that were just things that we continued to do. But another thing that we identified is that we needed to help address some of the infrastructure, or the lack of infrastructure in the community, and we came together around Parks and Recreation and created another organization called Partners for Parks, that its whole mission is to advocate for gaining access to land and whatever else is needed, not to run a particular program such as a baseball, softball, football program, but to provide those resources and that infrastructure to those organizations that already do that. So we got our vision established. We got that. It was clear, it was concise, it defined who we were as a club, it defined who we were as individuals, and we understood what we were passionate about. So the roadmap became very clear, and because of that alignment, the fundraisers that we had in place, really we only had one, which was our Rotary Classic golf tournament. And it raised a lot of money, but we felt like it was a beer fest. So we had to do a strategic change on that to make it more conducive and more of a reflection of who we were as a club. So we made that change about 4 or 5 years ago. And then the Grey Ghost 5K was actually a joint venture between the Rotary Club and non-Rotarians, because we needed to get people in the community to become familiar with the Rotary Club, and there was not a 5K in our area. So the Grey Ghost 5K was the first 5K in Spring Hill. In 2013 will be our 5th event. We have over 800 runners in each event. This isn't over a 5-year period. Each event has over 800 runners, and we have close to 1,500 participants, because we do a lot of other things in the periphery of that that makes it a family affair, pointing back to the fact of our demographics. We needed to partner with the schools. We needed to partner with all of the recreational programs and the like, and help them understand that their support of this was in fact support of themselves. So working with them, and we're continuing to grow this, but working with those organizations to promote our run, like I said, in essence, supports them. It says that we've raised, proceeds from these events of roughly $40,000 over the past 4 years. To kind of give you a sense, we made $8,000 in year 1. So I think you can kind of get a sense of how this thing is really starting to grow exponentially. And I'll get into some of the ways that we're able to do that in a minute, but I wanted to talk about the golf tournament. The golf tournament, and everybody's probably played in golf tournaments, much like pancake breakfast, or in some respects, or pancake breakfast. It's the experience that you provide at those events that sets them apart. And what we did is we enhanced the golf experience. We were playing this for the past couple of years at Kings Creek Golf Course there in Spring Hill, which is an excellent course. But we moved it to the Legends this year. Club here in Nashville is probably the premier golf course in this part of the Middle Tennessee. Private or semi-private. So we've given people an opportunity to play on a course that they probably wouldn't be able to do on their own. We have exceptional prizes. We partnered with Nike Golf to where we provide each participant with $80 worth of Nike bucks that they can use in the pro shop, in the Nike pro shop that sets up there to buy whatever. Shirts, golf shoes, golf balls, that's what I usually buy. And for a cost of a whole sponsor is $1,000. And if you just have a team, it's $600. So if you take $80 times 4, you can see the value that they're already getting back, and they're having a great experience. And we're able to work with the likes of Nike and others to provide that. Another thing that we do through partnering with Nike is we have 2 flights, and if you're familiar with golf, you've got varying abilities of team players. So you've got those that go out to win it because they're shooting 30 below, or you got those more like me that are shooting 30 over. But you'll go through and split where those scores come in, and you make the prizes similar for both of those flights. So a group that legitimately wins by shooting the best, each 4 of those club members walks away with a set of Nike clubs, a whole set. Second place wins drivers, third place wins putters. That lower group, and if you've got 30 teams, the 15th place teams wins the exact same thing. So the people feel compelled that, you know what, I'm going to go out there and have a good time anyway, but I'm not going to win. Now they have a chance to win. Feed them lunch and feed them dinner, and you're on an exquisite course. And this is the first year that we've done it at the Legends course. We did not raise the price from last year when we've had it at the other courses, and in essence made an investment in our future by letting them have this experience. And I guarantee you we're going to double it next year. Due to the location, due to the experience, and the excitement that came along with it. This is where we're probably a little different. If you can, and these are not all of our sponsors, but in this area you can kind of see some big name people on this list. I mean, Williamson Medical has always done a lot to support Rotary and other organizations here in Middle Tennessee. Vanderbilt, TriStar, Publix, Old South, Walgreens. Just
At least $1,000.
there are more.
But my real question.
And this is how it's done. We did not go to them to ask them to sponsor the Gray Ghost, or to sponsor the 5K, or to sponsor the golf tournament. We went back and based on what our challenges and opportunities are in Spring Hill from a quality of life standpoint, there's a lack of infrastructure around parks, around recreation, around their employees' quality of life, around the community and their targets, their demographics. We've tied into what's important to them, not what's important to us. That is a difference. Williamson Medical wrote us a check for $10,000. And you've got others that are looking to, and we're asking for $25,000 a year. And because of the way that we've made it important for them, that we don't have to go out and sell sponsors for every single event anymore. Obviously we're going to grow to be able to do that, but we're not talking about the golf tournament. We're talking about Partners for Parks. We're talking about quality of life. We're talking about their employees, their target audience, our young families as well. The point here is understand what your demographics are in your local community, and understand who your major corporate sponsors and or business owners are in those communities, and sell a bigger picture. I ran the baseball program there in our community for 3 years, and on that end, you're trying to get local businesses, small business owners to give you $200 a pop so they get their name on a t-shirt. That's important. That's absolutely important because those organizations need that support for those individual teams. But Vanderbilt, Williamson Medical, LP could care less about having to give you $200 for their name on a t-shirt. It's got to be meaningful to them, and that was what was easy for us somewhat. But this is where it becomes a challenge for the club because there's a fear to go ask for that big of a chunk of change to these organizations. And it does take a special group of people that feels confident enough to be able to do that. But when you have a compelling story that's bigger than that event, it's easy to tell it, and it's compelling, and they'll buy into it and do it in a sustained way. So the keys to success as a small club, you got to think big, and because you think big, you'll be big. Don't let that size of your club membership be a hurdle to overcome. Embrace it. Think bigger. You'll be able to. You'll feel more confident. Your club members will feel more confident in their own abilities. They'll be revitalized. Target the corporate sponsors that sell a broader story. To us, it's based on quality of life, based on where we're at, because of the lack of park infrastructure and a lot of other infrastructure that our community needs. Connect your corporate sponsors as well as your participants. Connect their values to yours. Make them see themselves in you. That's where the money will come from, and it will be there for years to come. And again, they're not interested in that single event. We tell them that you're going to be a part of us as a club all year long. It doesn't matter what the event is. They'll get visibility, recognition, be what it may, in any of the fundraisers that we have, as well as any of the service projects that we put on as well. Yes?
Can you give like an example of one of those corporate sponsors, the discussion and what they were looking to get out of it, what you were able to connect with?
I'll use, I use many, but I'll use Williamson Medical. David and I went to lunch with the gentleman there, and he's being here, he knows about Spring Hill on the light. We told him what our vision was. We knew that they were looking at growing as is Vanderbilt, TriStar, and others in our area, Mars, Pet Cares, and others. That young families are their target. We did research on them, particularly understanding their foundational giving. Most of the organizations have their own foundations. We understood what was valuable to them, so we spoke to them in their terms rather than us speaking to them in our terms. We helped them understand how their foundational giving matched up with ours, and we talked about that. And it was a refreshing conversation because it wasn't what yes, we were asking for money, but we never asked for the money. They gave it to us. We did talk about big dollars and kind of, in our terms, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 a year over X number of years. But ideally, we were looking at it in a range of roughly 5 years, and if we can get partners that can give $10,000 a year, $50,000 over a 5-year period, we were talking in that amount, so we can kind of set the expectation of what we were looking for. And like I said, the road check right then. Vanderbilt, they had an opportunity to come out to the golf tournament as well, and she was probably one of the biggest raving fans out there. So we've got an advocate in her already for next year's support. We're trying to find other ways to get involved. As far as some of your events, in our case, the Grey Ghost and the golf tournament, have an excellent venue. From a golf standpoint, you can't get any better than Legends. From a 5K standpoint, we've got the most unique 5K, I'd say, and certainly in our area, if not in Tennessee, because we do it on Oklahoma Plantation. We start out it's got a long driveway going up to the plantation. We start there. It's an out and back course, so when they come back, they're running back up right into the front of the plantation. It's just an absolute gorgeous piece of property. We do it in the fall. The leaves are changing and the like. You just got a great venue, family venue. The prizes, we have prizes for every single age group. In the 5K, we got little medals for each of the kids. It's not a timed race for the kids, but we give them a prize, and then the amenities that go along with it. We feed all the volunteers breakfast, and at the 5K, and like I said, for the golf tournament, we do the lunch and dinner. So I think that I took a little bit of different approach with the fundraising piece, because it's difficult to find that thing, find the fundraising piece, but the way that you sell those fundraising efforts, I think, is a difference in how much money you can raise and get long-term sustained corporate support. Then you don't have to, your membership doesn't really have to worry about the corporate sponsorships. All you have to go out to participants, which is arguably the easier thing to get. Yes?
From an accounting standpoint, are you guys a 501c3?
Yes. Are a 501c3.
Questions? Rusty, I know you changed your name, your club name last year, year before,
We did.
and would you speak to that just a little bit? Did you just wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, we got people from Thompson Station here, we need to...
Well, as our communities grew more closely together, we had members from both of those municipalities, and really it's a blessing and a curse. We've got Williamson County and Murray County, and then Spring Hill and Thompson Station. So we've got 4 municipal groups that we've got to support at any given time, and you can't separate. You've got to recognize their uniqueness, and that's why we couldn't. The people in Thompson Station didn't feel compelled to really be arguably involved with a club called Spring Hill.
Yeah.
So that's why we changed the name, but we didn't want to combine it in such a way because each municipality and city would lose their own identity. So we made sure that their individual identities were still captured in our closing.
What media exposure did you try to go for both the benefit of your sponsors and Rotary?
The understanding their target, young families, the more people that we could get out there, so getting them from the schools and into the schools, getting into all the recreational programs, it was more gritty, if you will. It's more PR related, but we were on the radio station every week. There, I forget this, 9:50 a.m. or whatever it is. We go there every week and have a conversation about a month prior to the event. We're at both cities, city meetings and such, and make announcements and such there. We've tied our fundraising efforts in with them, we partner with them from getting the cones and such out there set up on the race to coordinate shutting down the road for the 5K and the like. We send out some small press releases to the local newspapers and such. We work out advertising arrangements with the advertising news in particular, getting them the exclusive on that event, so they're able to go through it. They tell stories throughout the year. It's not about the race, it's about what it supports. So we go through and editorial component on a park that we gave money to. We go through and write about the team that just came back from Honduras. And oh, by the way, come out and support the Great Coast. So we balance the approach to where we're telling more about the philanthropic aspect of what the club is doing, and the fundraising is just the means to the end. It's not the fundraising event is not the event.
All right, thank you.